Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the most, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another wonderful episode of the J Lounge. Of course, all my audience knows out there, we are a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with entertainers, actors, directors, singers, you name it. They all come down here and we all have a great time. Excuse me if I'm fangirling for this for a minute. I am super excited to be speaking to my next guest. I have been watching her work for so long. She is, as we both just established, a seasoned actress. She has been here for a while. You guys will know her. She played Tasha and Why Did I Get Married? She was also Sasha Brown and Meet the Browns. And from there, she's had an amazing career, starting in BET's Her Only Choice. Which definitely got critically acclaimed. It got some 2019 Satellite Awards nomination. She was also in For the Love of Ruth alongside Titan Loretta Devine and James Pickens Jr. and Gary Gordon. This woman has pretty much done it all. I am super excited to be speaking with her. Everyone, please give up the amazing, the incredible, the talented, and the lashes on point, Denise Boutte. Hello. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm even better with that introduction. Good Lord. If I ever need some motivation or feel great about myself, I'm gonna just replay that. That is
Just call
amazing.
me. Just call me. I got you. I got you. Don't you worry about it. I got you. But
Oh, wow.
honestly, it is
Yes.
a real honor for me to be able to speak with you. And I know my guests and I know my audience are just freaking out because we are huge Tyler Perry fans here. And to actually have someone who's from that universe, we're excited.
My pleasure. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Well, Denise says I got you on here. I'm going to fire the first question at you. As I said, as we both established earlier, you are a seasoned actress, been acting for quite some time. But I want to know what began your passion for acting?
Yeah, I just hate giving people a womp womp story, but I fell into it. Like, this was not something that I was aiming to do with my life. It just kinda the moons aligned or whatever, and I just couldn't say no. It's just like, "Okay, God, what you trying to tell me? I wanna say no, but dang," because I'm such a type A personality, and when it comes to the creatives, that's not necessarily, the best, personality, I guess you would say, because I like to control things. If you saw my calendar right now, I have everything written down, highlighted, and I have to have a calendar. I got to feel the sucker. But what happened is I was in the backwoods, Louisiana, and I just wanted to get off the farm. I mean, that's pretty much it. I wanted to get off the farm. I knew that in order to do so, my parents or whatever were not, wealthy people at all. But I knew that I had to make good grades to get a scholarship because I was like, I'm out. So I went to LSU. I was like, deuces. But I went to LSU, actually majored in pre-med. I have no idea. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, right? And so when I was in the dorm, I met a young lady. Her name is Danielle, and she was in mass communications. I was like, I can talk. Like, that might be good for me. I can talk. Like, if anything I can make a living out of, I can talk. So, needless to say, I started interning at a news station. That didn't work out very well because I was doing the whole beat reporting thing, and had to cover this very devastating story and have a microphone in this kid's face or whatever. And I was just like, you know what? To get people when they're most vulnerable and stick a, microphone in their face and a camera,
Right.
this is not for me. This is not for me. And then I wasn't very good at reading a teleprompter. So there you go. That was my anchor career. I was like, okay, what next? So I
Oh
was
my
in advertising. I was in advertising for 5 years, and very proud of myself because I got to account director in 4.5 years. So I was moving up the ladder. And so I really can't say that I hated my job. It was cool, and again, I was on the pitch side of things. So I really liked, wooing clients and all that stuff. But God said no. He said what was supposed to do. And
I
so
love it.
yeah, and so one of the last places I worked at was Fossil, the place that makes the purses and watches, and they were launching a clothing line. And they asked several of us, I guess to save money, of course it was to save money, if we would model the clothing, and those pieces went up in the stores. And three of us got calls from a local talent agent. And we were all at lunch, like, oh, that's so funny. And then we got signed when things started, I had a very amazing friend. His name is DeMarcus McGoy. He is now a painter. He moved from there to New York City. And Roxanne moved there too. So about the same time we all left. Like we all threw caution to the wind or whatever. And we're like, okay, God is trying to tell us something. So we owe it to him to just take a leap of faith and we gotta go. Needless to say, DeMarcus and Roxanne are still in New York City. I'm still here. I've been here for, I can't believe I can say this, 20 years. But it was too many things I couldn't say no. I was just like, okay, God, I don't know what the heck you're telling me, but this is not comfortable. This does not feel good, but I mean, I couldn't say no. And then I've been married for like 6 months and I was like, my husband is never going to do this. And I mean, he was like, babe, I'll get you. Like, I'll join you. I was just like, are you serious? This dude's heart is in Louisiana. And he was just like, yeah, I'll meet you out there. I was like, are you serious? Like
Wow.
I couldn't say no. And then I met my manager, okay, in Dallas, Texas, because she would come here and there, whatever, and take headshots for the agency I got signed to. So she said, you know what, you got something. You got something. I want to represent you. And I'm just like, why? She was like, I have a management company. She was like, and I have a partner. I want him to meet you in Los Angeles. I met her partner who still owns the agency he's still the management company till this day. And I am still with him till this day. His name is Jasper Cole. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and let fate take its course or whatever and just let this happen. And I've been here ever since.
That
So
is awesome. And I love how you mentioned Jasper Cole because he was my previous guest on my show. So that is awesome.
that's my Jazzy. Yes,
Oh
yes,
my
yes.
goodness.
So yeah,
Ah,
I've been
that's
with him 20.
awesome.
I was his first client though. Okay. He's got other clients, but I was number one. That's all I got to say.
That is incredible. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And I get it. Being a news reporter, because I thought that myself going into that career, but you're right. Being in front of someone's face and they're most vulnerable is an ugly feeling that I just can't do. Especially with the camera and the microphone. No,
And
no,
that's where you
that's too much.
start. I mean, every journalist or whatever, you got to start with quote beat reporting, and go through
Exactly.
yeah. And so that's another thing people don't understand. Like there's certain levels. You don't just get on TV and all of a sudden you're an anchor. Like, no, you got to pay your dues. Like usually you got to go to a very small market, first it takes
Hmm.
2 cents on the dollar and then you work your way up or whatever. And if you're lucky, somebody in that town, one of these anchors that's been doing it for 50, 60 years decides to retire and you get in. And then if you want to do the national thing, it's just like it's a progress. That's why even acting, people don't understand, like, oh my God, I'm going to be Marlon Brando. And it's like, dude, you got to work for food and footage first. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Unless
Honestly.
you're Ashton Kutcher, I don't know how to spell, his last name. He is the only person I've heard of thus far who literally came out here, got on a national television show, and has ever since. He
Yep,
was a kid, but
yep.
he was like an instant sensation, instant. But everybody else I know and I speak to, no, we got to do the grunt work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We got to
Gotta
do the
put in the
grunt work.
dues. Exactly. Gotta put in your dues before you can say that you're on Marlon Brando's level. So yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is not something that, none of this happens overnight and you just have to be very sure of yourself. Be
You're
very sure of yourself and very a lot of confidence. I read well, I didn't read. I heard Garcelle Bouvet's book and it was so fascinating. Her audiobook, and it basically tells you like the roller coaster ride or whatever that is entertainment and that is her life, and it is fascinating.
I got
it,
you. I gotta go check it out. I gotta
it
check
is
that out.
absolutely fascinating, but
Oh
I
my
will say
goodness.
this, you will know from this, she knows her worth. Like that,
Oh
I will say
yes.
what I got from the whole thing is that she knows and owns who she is and her worth, and no matter where her career was, she just knew. She just knew I'm destined for greatness. This is
Yep.
for a time, and I'm not gonna stop.
I I definitely gotta read it. That is definitely on my list to read.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
But going on to the number two question, as I stated earlier, you have been an established actress for quite some time. You pulled off some amazing performances. But when you met Tyler Perry, you were put into a different atmosphere. I mean,
Oh my
how
God.
is it like to be part of Tyler Perry's world?
You know what? Here's the funny part. I got in with the Tyler Perry world right when the whole television thing was taking off. So Tyler was, of course, doing the stage plays and all that stuff. And so he was moving into the whole studio television series situation, right? So at the time when I met Tyler, he was at the very beginning of that stage, I guess you would say in his career. So House of Pain was going, right? And so when I auditioned for Tyler, he was going to start his second series and he was about to do Why Did I Get Married? Well, I auditioned for Meet the Browns. I didn't audition
Mhm.
for Why Did I Get Married? So when I went in the room or whatever, that's all I knew or whatever. And he stood up, he said, "Hey, you're my new, Sasha Brown or whatever, but got another movie, called Why Did I Get Married? And I'd like you for that too." But I'm gonna tell you a little secret, which is
Yeah.
pretty pathetic, but I'm gonna tell you. So when we were in that room, because again, it was so early on, in the career where he was about to do the takeover, okay?
Hmm.
Um, I only knew him as Medea. So when I
Oh.
saw this tall, statuesque man or whatever in the room, I was like, I don't know who gave me a job to my manager. Like, I don't know who gave, but he said, I am in the series and I'm in the movie. I hope Tyler approves. So he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, I got to find out who this guy is, who this is that offered it to you because we got to make sure this is real."
Right.
It was Tyler. Like, but I didn't know.
Tyler. It was Tyler.
I only knew him as Medea. So I had no idea it was Tyler. So we find out later on, like, oh my God, he hoped it was like, no, chick, that was Tyler Perry. And then I remember I came out of that room. He told me, he was like, pull it together. Cause I literally dropped to my knees, right? In the
Ooh.
room. Cause he told me in the room. And I was like, my mama is gonna be so happy. Like he was like, okay,
Yes,
I was
that's
going to say
me.
something. No, okay, chick. That's what he's saying. Say another word. Pull it together, okay? Because there's a million other chicks out there who are auditioning, and I don't want them to know that you already got the role. So I was like, so the funniest thing is full transparency. When I went out there, I was comforted by someone because they could see I was still kind of shaking or whatever. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, come here. Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I whispered, I was like, "He said I had it." He was like, "What?" The guy in there said I had it. That was Lamont Rucker. That was Lamont Rucker. Had never met Lamont in my career or life. And he was the one who was just so happened to be standing out there who gave me a big old hug or whatever. It's like, this chick, something wrong. She about to break all down. So
Oh
he
my
gave
God,
me
I
a
imagine
hug.
the facial expression. I imagine the facial expression.
I was like, here's this hunk of a man. He wants to give me a hug. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not going to protest here. He's a very nice looking man, so
A
hey.
little teddy bear. Okay. And it just so happens we go, go to Atlanta and there's Lamont. I was just like, what the hell? But again, that goes to tell you there are no coincidences in life. I mean, it's just,
No. But
nope.
from there, like you said, you went from Why Did I Get Married, and then you were at Meet the Browns, which holds a very special place in my heart. My mom and I watched it every night that it appeared. She loved the story. She loved you guys, and what really made her what really I think touched her really really well is that when you guys were adopted
Mm,
parents, and it was portrayed in such an authentic and such a genuine way. My mom's adopted, so she was so happy to see
mm,
adoption kind of played out the way it was. I thought Tyler Perry did a brilliant job making you guys adopted parents and bringing
yeah.
all that is with it.
Yeah.
Again, I thought y'all did a phenomenal job. You're definitely Sasha Brown's definitely on the TV list of TV moms. right
It's
next to
still
Claire
plays till this
Huxtable.
day. I'm always like, wait, are you serious? Like, and you know, the cool part about Meet the Browns was there was a lot of heart in it. It was a comedy, of course. You know,
Mhm.
what can you do with David Mann? I mean, you gotta laugh. Okay?
Thank you.
But
Right.
there was a lot of heart and spirit and a lot of, life lessons, that were
There
taught
was.
in those. Yeah. I mean, like you were saying with the kids, Sasha had a miscarriage at one point
Hmm.
and, just dealing with in-laws, Jennifer Lewis, and then
Love you, Jennifer.
yeah, and then Richard Roundtree played my dad. I mean, it was real life, situations, kind of like, Blackish is, like
Exactly.
you got to laugh, but at the same time or whatever, it was a teaching moment. So yeah, that was
It
the beautiful
was.
balance. Yeah.
It was. And what I also loved about it, it portrayed people of color in a better light than what, that's what I truly loved about it. Here was Sasha. She is a doctor. She's married. She's adopted two kids.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but the
Ugh.
way that your character handled everything, it just, yeah, it was just so authentic to me. And I just definitely Meet the Browns always have a special place in my heart. Sasha
Oh,
Brown will
and
always be in
handled
me.
Terry J. Vaughn. I mean,
Of
Renee was a
course.
hot right mess. So
Yes. And funny enough, Terry J. Vaughn used to be one of my guests on the show. So I
oh,
had
really?
you.
Oh,
Yes.
that's my TV. I love TV.
Yes.
I'm
Shout
Mon
out to
Mon. I have
Terry.
Mon Mon and TV. Those are my
That
You
is
can't get rid
amazing.
of us. I mean, we're like the Three Musketeers, and she's like soaring high, on the directorial, I guess you would say, side. I mean, it's just awesome.
It is.
They will
It
always be
is.
family. Always be family.
Love it. I love it. That's so awesome. That really is awesome. Going on to the next question, you have received award buzz for your incredible performance in Never Again, which holds the BET spot
Yeah.
for most streamed movie on their platform. People, make sure you put respect on it.
Yeah.
That is amazing. One, I want you to tell my audience what the movie is about and who your character is.
Oh my God, it was such an amazing moment because I got to work with Jackie Long, who I
Ooh.
absolutely thought was brilliant in his own right or whatever. And it was just a fascinating experience. I mean, this woman had gotten, into a relationship she thought was the one. I mean, Christian Keys, who's always playing at dogging out chicks or whatever. He was my, man for the moment, but it was a man from her past or whatever came back and revealed to her that, maybe her life wasn't quite what it was cracked up to be. She was portraying who she thought she should be, personally and professionally, but, sometimes somebody who may not be as successful kind of wakens up something inside of you or reawakens something inside of you that you thought you lost, So it was just a really awesome, very delicate, I guess you would say, situation because there were a lot of things about this woman that you could be like, kind of judgmental or whatever for. But that was my challenge with that, to bring it around to somebody that folks would sympathize with and wouldn't hold that against her. You know what I'm saying? That she needed to break out of her shell and really embrace who she was, the love she lost, and just come to terms with a lot of stuff or whatever she had buried. So it was really cool, but that's again, you don't judge your characters, and it's always important that you balance it out. And if the audience is going to hate you, they hate you. And if the audience is going to fall in love, they do. And I'd fallen in love with this character and her situation and wanted to make sure that I played that balance properly. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? To make sure that the
Absolutely.
audience didn't hate this woman, but they understood her journey and kind of why she took the paths or whatever that she did. My job was to make the audience sympathize with her and understand her choices.
And I think you did a great job. And again, I think definitely a lot of awards buzz. So you definitely did a phenomenal job there.
Thank
And I highly encourage everyone, if you haven't seen Never Again, please go ahead, stream it on BET Plus, make it even more popular than it already is,
you.
and see the amazing performance that Denise gives. So definitely make sure you guys do that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
of course. Going on to the next question. You also recently starred in The Missing, a thriller also that's on BET Plus. What
Awesome.
is that movie about, and who's your character in the film?
Well, you know what? So yeah, so Never and Again is tops or whatever. And I don't know the way The Missing's going. I think it's one of those sleepers or whatever, but over the weekend it just like shot up and out of the stratosphere. So I don't know. I mean, this sucker might be on the tails of of a Never and Again, but again, a character that you don't judge, and that was my whole thing, was to tell the story of a woman she's just broken. You know what I'm saying? And she just is at the hands of a very, very abusive, husband, verbally, physically, all that fun stuff. And I'd never played a role like that before. And there's a lot of action. There's a lot of tumbling and falling and I mean, basically I read the script and I was like, you know what, guys, I'm grown. And if I break it now, it is not mending. Like, y'all gonna have to get somebody.
Thank you. If it's broken, it's
I'm
not
like,
mending.
I'm clumsy and I'm grown. I was like, so as much as I'd like to do this, unless you guys and I will say, I wanted to tell you I did all my own stunts. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I don't
no.
blame you. I
Mm-mm.
do not blame
I have
you.
never done anything that physical in any role that I've had. And it was cool. Like, to have a stunt double, and it was so fascinating, the process. And Patricia handled it flawlessly. Patricia Cuffy Jones, shout out Patricia. But there would be times or whatever where, stunt double, she was falling downstairs. She boom falls. As soon as she hit and that hair was gone. So here you go, Denise. Okay. So what you got to do is, and she would have to like see exactly where she was positioned, the double, and how I needed to position myself so that the camera couldn't tell whatever that a switcheroo had happened. And it was just like, oh my God, it blew my mind. That
Oh,
whole process
wow.
blew my mind. Like they would have to take photos or whatever of the positioning of the other girl and reinsert. And sometimes I was like, ooh, let's see if mama can get up in here. Oh,
Let me see.
yeah. Or
That
just
is
like
brilliant.
do this thing or whatever on the couch. Like, how did she like get into that position? Like, what the hell? But it was just a fascinating process and it was cool. And like I said, that was the first time I did like an action thriller, and so it was very physical, very intense. And I was like, why is this fun to me? Like,
Why is this fun to me?
why is this fun?
I
And
love that.
it was so emotional, intense. I mean, like I was drained. Like at the end of the day, every day, I was just like so drained because it was just so heavy, the
Oh my
content was just so
goodness.
heavy. So yeah, so if you guys want to get something or whatever, I mean, you owe it to me to go and look at The Missing.
I love it.
I did a whole lot of work on this. So y'all better go and download or stream The Missing because your girl put in work. Okay.
I love that. She did not put in that much work for nothing, y'all. So
Y'all
make
owe
sure you
me.
go.
Y'all owe me. If you like Denise Boutte at all, you owe me. So go look at
I have to agree, and I like the way you put that. I did not
check
put in this
out.
much work
Yes. Okay.
for y'all not to check this out.
Don't
Stop.
play with me. Don't play with me. Just like
Love
look,
it.
Betty Jean. My mama's in Louisiana. She gonna come at y'all too. Okay, Betty Jean gonna come at y'all. So you might as well watch it.
I love it. I highly encourage my audience to make sure you check out The Missing on BET Plus and watch Denise put in that work, okay? Because she puts in
Ooh,
work.
I did. I
Going
did.
on to the next question. Denise, I want to make sure my audience keeps up with you, your work. Where are you on social media?
I am okay. I don't think anybody cares about Facebook anymore, but I am on Facebook, Denise Boutte, and the last name is spelled Boutte. So DeniseBoutte. So you can find me on there with blue check mark or whatever at Denise_Boutte because somebody decided to take my name. So I don't have that account. I'm serious. I was so late to social media. I would tell my man, I was like, oh, this is never gonna last. Nobody cares. And then just like 3-4 years after, I was like, shit, I don't have a choice. Like this thing's not going
I
anywhere.
don't have a choice now.
So by the time I hopped on the train, everybody got 1 million followers. And I'm like, damn, because I was really late to the party. I was really late to the
Okay,
party. So
that is okay. I was a
I
little
guess
late to
somebody smarter
the
than
party
me was like, let me go ahead and snatch this chick name because she gonna want it one day. So
too.
and then the same thing on I actually have a culinary side to me. So on that one, I always hashtag myself Louisiana girl. So that one's Louisiana girl. And that's WEEZIANA and then girl. So that's where you can find me in the culinary side of me because that's my passion. Of course, I told you, backwoods Louisiana. We like
Good.
what? Food,
I was
family,
just gonna
and
say.
fun.
I was
Food,
gonna say.
yeah. That's our
Mm-hmm.
three. That's our trinity: food, family, and fun. That's all we care
Love it. Love it. Cannot live without neither one of those three: food, family, and fun.
about.
I can tell you.
No, absolutely not.
All
Absolutely.
right. Going on to the
Yay.
next question, Denise, what future projects are you involved with currently that you can give a dish about to the J Lounge audience?
You know what? I guess I had so much fun playing with the folks that did the missing that I'm doing another project with them come mid-September. So, of
Ooh.
course I can't give, the details on that or whatever, but it was I can tell you this much. It was originally called The Nanny, but they recently changed the what do you call it, the title, and I
Mhm.
still don't have the script yet, darling. So I'm just waiting to see what this chick's about. But fun. Again, I worked with them in, March, and they were just like, hey, but you be, open to, and it's just like, I don't even know what this premise is. I was like, but yeah, I was like, you got the same people or whatever in production. Yeah, you got the same, of course, not the same actors or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. I was like, cool. It was like one of the chillest sets I have ever been on. They were so supportive because they knew that this thing was draining. And so, they let me be and do my thing. So I was just like, heck yeah, I'm down. So hey, you want to
Yeah.
play ball? I want to play ball. Let's make this happen. So yes, I'm doing that. And I actually I'm not saying transitioning, but I'm also working on some stuff behind the scenes. So
Ooh,
next year,
directing,
not
maybe?
direct. I don't want to direct. Like I say
No.
that, and people just like, don't ever say. I was like, no, 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 I don't want to direct at all. I'm just a very type A type personality, and I found out a couple years ago. I was like, kind of cool at this production side, and
Ooh,
so
okay.
it
Okay.
feels good. It just feels good. I've got more stories to tell and a lot of stuff which of course, well, no, all three projects reside in Louisiana because that's what's near and dear to my heart. So there's some stories from back home I want to tell, especially because a lot of times people portray us as like ignorant, can't talk, that kind of stuff. No,
Right.
I can.
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
Can.
we can. We are
Yeah.
color articulate. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
know.
like, we ain't water boy. No, we don't do that. Like that's not. No, no, no. Let me back it up. We got some water boys. Okay, whenever we got that. Okay, so they're there, but we may not highlight them until we're doing a comedy. Okay, so needless to say, I've got, like I said, I've got an interest or whatever on that side. Never thought that I would, but like I said, I've got stories to tell and worked with some awesome people, and this thing should come to fruition. I've been in this game for a while, have come across the right people, and actually believe that this thing can happen, actually materialize. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Ooh, well, make sure you keep me posted here at the J Lounge because anything you do, I definitely want to see it. So make sure, to send me a little message. Hey, this is what's
Okay.
happening. So I can, because we here at J Lounge, we want to make sure we're informed. We like
All
being
right.
informed.
Well, you say I've got you now on deck. I've got you verbally saying that, so I will hold you to it. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. I just got just a few more questions for you going on to the next one. Is there still a role you dream to play that you haven't yet?
I used to say I wanted to do my monsters ball,
Ooh.
monster or whatever, but I did that. Yeah, I did that. And it was an amazing experience. Lynette Shell, shout out to you and Corey. And so when they presented it, I was just scared as hell. I was like, oh my God, I wanted this, I prayed for this, and then all of a sudden it showed up, and I was like, I don't know, because this chick is just gutter. Like she's just, and again, you don't choose your characters, but that's what I initially thought. I was like, oh Lord. I mean, she's like strung out, she's verbally abusive to her daughter. I mean, she's got a wig on, but half the time is crooked. Like she's smoking joint. Like she just don't care. Okay. Life just kicked her in the ass. Okay. And so I always said I wanted to do that. But whenever I was, offered this role, I was just like, I don't know. And I was like, you know what? I always wanted it. God doesn't give you things until you're ready. Obviously, he thinks I'm ready, so let's go for it. And so I did it, and I was like, wow. Like at the end of the whole thing, I was like crying, because that's when they were doing, my interview. I just so happened to fall on the last day. And I just started crying. They were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I feel so naked," because it was just me. Like it was just
Hmm.
about performance. The hair is a mess. There's no makeup. Like she just like slumming it. But in order to do justice to it, like for instance, there was a scene where I'm on the couch and no lie, like I'm just like, did she ain't wearing no bra? And they're just like, okay. And I was like, but and mind you, I have a tank top on. Okay, I got a tank
Right,
top.
of course.
But I was like, she don't care. Like she is like totally high. She's taking a little bit, sniffs of stuff. She don't give a damn about no bra.
No,
And I literally,
exactly.
yeah, so I literally like took it off. I threw it. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Love it. Love it. I have dreamed of doing that my entire life.
I was like, I can't do justice to this character because this is just not it. So I just went in. I just went in. They let me do like make some very strong choices. And my accent was very, very much a part of the role. And it felt good to free fall. But then, after I saw, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know if I have to do this again. Like this is good. And then the movie I just did was a lot of stunt work, right? So I
Right.
did the stunt work thing. I was like, okay, well, what else is there? And I think really I would only be able to say superhero. Like that would be fun. I don't know.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know if that time has passed or whatever. Again, I put it out in the atmosphere, and if the Lord says it hasn't passed, it hasn't passed. But I would love to be a superhero.
MCU.
And Viola Davis,
MCU.
look, Viola Davis is grown and she's
That's
playing
what
with
I'm
the
saying. I'm
Okay, so I'm
thinking
gonna
that
put
we
that into the atmosphere. But yeah, I want to kick some ass. I want to kick
yes.
some ass.
Ooh. I think
Yes.
if they do another Black Panther, I think I know who could be one of the warriors.
I
I'm
mean,
just
I'm
saying.
just saying now, my clumsy behind would have to train, okay, or do that, but I'll get my guns ready, girl. Get my guns in order. Like I don't know. I would love to put in the physical, work in order to bring that to life. That would be so cool. So that's
Oh
the
my
only genre
gosh.
I could say right off the top of my head. I'm just like, I haven't done that, and this would be so cool. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I get you. I get you. Like I said, Marvel, if you're listening, I think we have another person that would like to
I'm
join.
just
So
saying,
just
girl,
saying,
from
just
your lips
saying.
to God's ears, okay?
All right. All right. Going on to the last question, Denise, for you. You have done so many roles, so many different roles. But in your own words, what has been your favorite role to date and why?
It's still why did I get married? There's been
Love
nothing
it.
to dethrone that. I mean, it's just like here I wasn't even here a year and a half, and so, you find out you're doing a movie with Janet Jackson. I mean, I mean, seriously, it's like, what can top that? Yeah, for me,
Exactly.
thus far, like I would be lying to you if I said something else. So no, that was definitely one of the most amazing experiences ever. And I would have to say on the more, dramatic front, I would say For the Love of Ruth. And that was with what do you call it? Oh God, why am I blanking? Gary Dourdan or whatever
Mhm.
was in there.
Loretta Devine.
Loretta Devine and what's it, Pickett Jr.
Yes.
James
Yes.
Pickett Jr. James was in there from Grey's Anatomy. And when I tell you, I thought, how the hell like Loretta Devine? My God, she's like an icon. But I was just like, wow, like God really thinks I can handle some stuff. And that was just such a beauty. Brayley Evans was in there too. I was just like, this right here. And I met my friend, dear friend, Christine Swanson, because she directed it. But she was just so pure,
Oh,
she's so
love it.
innocent. It was just such a warming story. And, the innocence, of the
Yes, of
assumption.
course.
It was to me such a beautiful, simple story. It was
Ah,
simple.
love
Like,
it.
there wasn't nothing about it that was, but it touched on people's heart. And I mean, people, I still get that till this day. I'm telling you, between Why Did I Get Married And for the love of roots, when people are referencing my work as a, in theater or whatever, as in film, that's what they're always. That's the two that
Yes,
I
those were definitely memorable performances, and Why Did I Get Married definitely opened up a whole different genre. I mean, it was a lot more successful than what critics thought it was going to be.
use.
So hopefully, if there's a third one coming in, we would love to see a
Well,
cameo, that's
they
for
did do
sure.
oh, no, not a third, they did a second. I was about to say
Yep.
they already did that, girl, but yeah, 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 no, third.
Yes, we need a third one. We need a third one.
If they
I'm
needed
just
me to steal
saying.
another man, I mean, or maybe I redeemed myself. Maybe I redeemed myself and I learned from my mistakes. So yes, yes, I would love
Love
the chance to come around or whatever. I'd love for Trina to come back and redeem herself.
Yes, yes. Ah, Denise, it has been such a pleasure to be able to speak with you. It has been my honor. I cannot wait to go
Oh,
home and tell all my friends and tell my mom I spoke with you. It is great, and I just like I said, the work that you've been putting in is phenomenal. Cannot
thank
wait to see more of what you do. And yes, again, speaking into existence, if we do a third Tyler Perry, when I get married, we need to have you in here. So I
yes.
just thank you for being amazing.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. I never, ever, ever take any of that for granted. So I appreciate it.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course, of course. I highly encourage my audience. Make sure you follow Denise Boutte on all social medias, Facebook as well. Make sure you check out all of her work that's on BET right at this moment. And of course, she's got more. Make sure you check out The Missing, because again, she did not put on that work for nothing. So make sure you go
Okay.
check that out.
Don't play with me,
Okay.
people. Don't play with me. If
All
you
right.
love me, you gonna watch, okay?
Love it. All right, you guys, I have been your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, bringing you another great episode of the J Lounge. Want to thank my amazing guest again, Denise. I want to thank everyone for listening in. Until then, I will be back with another great episode. But y'all, enjoy that sunshine, enjoy your day, and I'll be back soon. Bye.